Well, hello, ladies and gentlemen. In this video, we are going to talk about planets, their retrograde motion, exaltation, and debilitation, and retrograde and exaltation, retrograde and debilitation, all the results, what happens when it happens. So, we have these many planets: Sun, Moon, Mercury, Venus, Mars, Jupiter, Saturn. These three planets are new planets: Uranus, Neptune, and Pluto. Okay, so if let's say Sun is normal, then it is vitality, leadership, authority. We already know that. Let's say retrograde. Okay, so what is retrograde? A retrograde is when a planet is moving in the opposite direction to the Sun. So Sun is never retrograde, and Moon is also never retrograde in our chart. When the planet is moving in the opposite direction, or why a planet moves in the opposite directions? Basically, its relative speed is slower than the planet moving. Okay, so relatively, basically, it is moving opposite direction, but it is moving in its own axis, but it is just looking relatively moving backwards. Okay, nothing more than that. So Sun and Moon is never in retrograde. Okay, I think we already know that Moon is emotions, Mercury is communication, Venus is love, Mars is energy, action, Jupiter is philosophy, faith, wisdom, morality, Saturn is hard work, discipline, and everything. Okay, I think we already know that. Coming to the retrograde, if a Mercury is retrograde, that means Mercury is buddhi, our mind. It is again and again checking itself. So whenever planet is retrograde, so it reevaluates itself again and again. So that planet will reevaluate itself. So Mercury is buddhi. Your buddhi always, you're confused and you just try to analyze everything again and again and again and again and again, coming to some conclusion and then reanalyzing again. So you basically never reach onto a perfect conclusion because every time you are just reanalyzing it. Overthinking happens. Okay, introspection and revisiting ideas, right? Then comes to Venus, then reevaluating relationship, inner value reflection, Mars, reevaluating anger. So repressed anger, inner battle, slow execution, karma. Mars is our karma. So you are not doing your karma, you are reevaluating your karma when your Mars is retrograde. Then we have Jupiter retrograde, your moral virtues, morality, ethics, wisdom, all these things you're re-evaluating again and again. So in this scenario, your knowledge also, Jupiter also represents your knowledge. So you always re-evaluate your knowledge as well. Saturn is hard work and discipline. You keep on reevaluating your hard work. So you basically do not do hard work. You just start doing something and then stop doing that thing. Then again start doing that thing. Again you stop. It's just back and forth of you're trying to do something but you're not able to do something because always each and every time you just feel like okay I'm not be able to do this. Okay, revisiting karma, internalize responsibilities. Okay, that is our retrograde. So Uranus is innovation, Neptune is dream, spirituality, imagination, reform. Okay, Uranus is rebellion, and Pluto is transformation, power, and rebirth. So, inner revolution, introspective mysticism, and shadow integration. Yeah, I'll provide the notes in the description. You all know that. Okay. Okay. So now coming to exaltation. In exaltation, what happens is Sun is exalted in Aries, Moon is exalted in Taurus. Exaltation, the planet property increases. So Sun becomes even more egoistic in Aries. Radiant, powerful leadership qualities. All the Sun qualities increases. We have already covered the planets. You can go and check out that video. Okay. In Moon, the Moon power is increased. So in Taurus, basically our Moon is exalted. So Moon abilities increases. Mercury is exalted in Virgo. Venus is exalted in Pisces. Mars is exalted in Capricorn, Jupiter is exalted in Cancer, Saturn is exalted in Libra. So you can check, go back and check that video again. Okay. In this video, I'm just going to explain. So basically, the properties of that planet is improving or increasing in exaltation. Now, exalted retrograde. So, over analysis, inward genius, quiet intellect. You will over analyze. Actually, just because planet is powerful doesn't mean that retrograde effect will not happen. The retrograde effect will happen, and you will basically, since that planet is working at a higher end of the spectrum, you will reevaluate it even more. So, exaltation and retrograde will, like, you will reevaluate everything associated to that planet even more. So over analysis, inward genius, quiet intellect. So you will keep on re-analyzing it. Okay. Now, Venus exalted and retrograde. So again, Pisces के अंदर deep self love, spiritualized affection, private artistry, Mars controlled inner fire, sustained inner courage, so on. So I think you would be able to analyze like what is exalted and retrograde. Then we have debilitated. Debilitated basically it reduces the planet properties. So Sun becomes weak in Libra because it's debilitated. Moon is decreasing its property. Emotions becomes a little less in, or turbulence happens. Insecurity happens. Emotions are not feeling, stable. So it gets a little unstable emotions. Okay, it happens in Scorpio, and Mercury is debilitated in Pisces, scattered thought, poor focus. Okay, Virgo in, so Venus is debilitated in Virgo, so critical love, blocked affection. These kind of things happen, but but these kind of things happen. But what happens is, when you have a retrograde planet, so sorry, when you have a retrograde planet or a debilitated planet, you have to work harder on that planet. So you basically work hard on it and to improve it. So this concept is really important. Now you just try to like use your buddhi here, and let's come to Mercury. Okay. So what happens in Mercury? Mercury is debilitated in which sign? Which is Pisces. Pisces is deep ocean. So inside the deep ocean, your thoughts becomes deep. It is scattered because you are having the deep thoughts. So deep thoughts, so you will work on your thoughts even more, and you will improve its ability. By the end, when you are like mature enough, adult enough, you're that planet, if you have worked upon it, then it will significantly improve its property. It will act even better than that of the exalted planet. The debilitated planet will work better than the exalted planet. Why? Because you have worked on that planet. You have worked on your buddhi. Similarly, Virgo, debilitated Venus. But if you work on your relationships, if you work on your love and everything, Virgo people are loyal people, perfectionist people. So if you work on it, it will get better. Now, moving to the Mars. Mars is debilitated in Cancer, in watery sign. So these people are very very emotional. Their anger is emotional anger. Okay, emotional anger. Jupiter is debilitated in Capricorn. So what happens here in Capricorn? What is energy? Airy energy. It is getting debilitated. So morality, restrained optimism, material focus. You have to work on it even more in that scenario, but it ultimately will give even better results. Okay, coming to the Saturn. Saturn get debilitated in Aries. Impatience around rashness. So moving to the debilitated and retrograde, rethinking, communication, intuitive reasoning, revisiting past wounds, love, again debilitated and retrograde. Okay, so you have to like very high karma associated to that planet. In the last life, you haven't worked on that planet, so that is why you have got debilitated plus retrograde. So all the whenever planet is a retrograde, it is a karmic. That planet is karmic. Let's say, for example, your Lagan Lord is retrograde. Then yourself, you have to work very hard on yourself because you will reevaluate yourself again and again. If your seventh house Lord is retrograde, that again give you a karmic life partner. So that partner, you it will karmic. You know the what is karmic, I think. So what karmic is when in the past life you did not perform your duties well enough with your partner. You troubled your partner, him or her. You didn't give enough time, efforts, energies. So that the debt, the karma that is pending, that is karmic debt, that the karma that is pending will come again in the next lifetime, which is your this lifetime. Okay, so you need to be very careful about these planets that are debilitated and retrograde, or even just a retrograde planet. Okay, now coming to the transformed expression finally, let's say for example, after everything, after debilitation or everything, ultimately you will learn the balance, humility, leadership, and through fairness and purpose. In the sun case, ultimately the planet goal is to, you have to work on yourself such that that planet is working fine at the end of your life. If you were able to resolve the past karma associated to that planet, then in the next lifetime you will not get the retrograde or debilitated or exalted retrograde, something like that. You will not get karmic. Okay, so in the case of the moon, what happens is deep emotional healer, stability through awareness. In the case of Mercury, intuitive yet precise communication. Your communication will increase, you will get poetic intelligence. So when you work on that your planet, ultimately that planet rises up. When you work on your spiritual path, when you work on yourself, that planet rises up. And then we have, which planet is it? Pure devotion, love, and discernment and self-worth. This is Venus, I guess. Yep, this is Venus. And emotionally wise warrior, courageous nurturer. So in this scenario, our Mars becomes very wise, emotional, and what is Mars energy? It just go directly. It doesn't think. It just go directly and do wars. So when Mars become emotional, debilitated, then it will get intelligence, emotional intelligence. Then it will think before it acts in a positive way. Okay. Grounded spirituality, wisdom through discipline. Jupiter, when it is transformed. Then Saturn, a calm achiever, patient authority through perseverance. When you work on your Saturn, you work on your hard work discipline, your planet will get better. Then we have Uranus, I guess. Uranus is stable, innovator, grounded freedom. Then Neptune, grounded mystic, visionary, and compassion. Then finally Pluto, collective transformer of consciousness. So, to wrap the things up, in this video we have talked about retrograde planets, debilitated and exalted. What happens when the planet is retrograde and exalted, retrograde and debilitated. Okay, and ultimately, when you have a retrograde planet or debilitated planet, what you have to do is to resolve the karma of that planet by working upon yourself in this lifetime. Okay, that is what you have to do in this lifetime. Yeah, I think I have completed this topic. Thanks a lot for watching the video.